Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Season 3 World Championship. It's time for our first match of the day as Europe's Gambit take on Fnatic, the EU LCS champions. And with one more win, XPeke and his teammates will earn a spot in those coveted quarterfinals. And coming into this match, Fnatic has been feeling very good about their chances. Not to mention the fact they've beat Gambit the last 5 times that they've played.
Yeah, they should be feeling good. Fnatic slaughtered Gambit in their first meeting here at Worlds. Gambit tried to go Season 2 on the game and failed. They brought out that Shyvana that Darian was known for, but you know, Fnatic's AD carry Pushu was a monster in that game. His 11 kills nearly tripled Gambit's whole team. Pushu has stepped his game up here at Worlds amidst all the talk of Reckless replacing him. He's playing like a man that really wants to save his job and impress a future team, maybe.
Well, whilst Pushu and the rest of Fnatic are ready to put that pressure on Gambit once again and earn that spot in the quarterfinals, this time they might feel a little bit bad if they beat their European brethren.
I feel like they were starting sloppy, but they are increasing really hard at the moment. They are really death machine. I think we should play better strategically and play better mechanically and play better overall.
They are going to be thinking every possible situation. And I think they're going to be super scared going into that game because it means a lot for them. It means everything pretty much. Winning this game will secure their spot.
If we beat Fnatic, it's almost certain that we're in. This time we're going to prepare more than we usually do against Fnatic because we can't afford to lose this match.
It's always important for us to win because when I lose, I feel a bit ashamed. We really, as a team, don't like this feeling, so we'll make sure not to lose any game.
When we are at Europe, it's like kind of like if you are with your brother. You mess with each other, you fight each other a lot, but you don't like someone messing with your brother. I don't want Gambit to beat us, but I still prefer them to win every other game.
Some interesting thoughts there. And well, these two teams have a close relationship, but it's definitely Fnatic who have the better of it.
And they're thinking as Fnatic as the death machine now. That's scary.
The death machine. And Alex, you know, he broke that whole thing down there. Like, we have to play better mechanically, strategically. Oh, and just overall, if we're going to win this game. So let's have a look at the starting lineups then. Starting off with the blue side this time around will be Gambit. They are, of course, Darian in the top lane, Diamond in the jungle, Alexic in the mid lane, Genja the AD carry, and Voidal the support.
And in the red, it's Fnatic. Up top is Soaz. In the jungle is Cyanide. At mid is XPeke. Pushu is the AD, and Yellow Star is the support.
So let's have a look then towards champion select from this one, because there are a lot of champions that cross over, the likes of Orianna and Arya, 2 hotly contested picks between Alex and XPeke.
Yeah, the mid matchup here is really, really intimidating. Gonna have to see what kind of assassins get through there. Meanwhile, Aatrox, I think, will be make a showing here, either in bans or picks. Whenever you're going up against Gambit, the revive passives are highly prized.
Well, we are going to jump in then. We'll see exactly where the bans fall and where the picks come in from this one. Obviously, Gambit on the blue side, so they get first ban this time around, and the first one coming out there will be Elise. Zed then banned by Fnatic.
The #1 assassin, pretty much. He was let through actually a lot yesterday, which is pretty interesting. You know, SKT coming up with that Riven mid to sort of soft counter him. It didn't really have the biggest impact late game, though, so they're just going to go a safe route, ban out the Zed, also take along that Ahri with them.
Yeah, the Shen taken out there. Aatrox we expected. We said it before that he's been played a lot, whether that's in the top lane or in the jungle for Gambit, and also in the jungle for Fnatic as well. So he's not going to feature in this one. Final ban here for Fnatic, though. Where did they go with this one? The likes of Evelyn. It's something that Diamond certainly isn't scared of bringing out there in the jungle. Lee Sin is another champion that Cyanide's been playing a lot of recently. Diamond as well, but they've got rid of Corki.
Yeah, I mean, Kreppel brought it up, I think, talking about the Evelyn. Going to ban it out unless you have a plan for it, which is basically the plan is pink ward behind you and on your flanks. But it looks like Fnatic leaving the Evelyn up, so they may be trying to bait Diamond into taking that one. So far, though, you're right, the Orianna, it's been really big for Alex in the past, and it does leave the rest of their picks wide open because she works with a lot of different styles.
So what are Fnatic going to answer with here? That Evelyn is still not really a champion that we see too much from Cyanide. Lee Sin, though, I think may feature here in this Fnatic lineup. If you look down what Cyanide's played so far, Elise Aatrox, which covers, by the way, every game but one that he's played with Lee Sin. So, yeah.
Yeah, probably either Lee Sin or Jarvan. That combo's pretty good. You've done your work, Joe. Good job. The Aatrox, I think that, you know, it's only banned by European teams so far because he's really big over there, but not a lot of other regions besides China have really bought into that. I'm a believer, though. I love the jungle Aatrox.
Love a bit of Aatrox. So the other pick for Fnatic here was Zyra. Actually, Yellowstar played it in both of their last games. Both of them were wins. 100% record for him on that.
Always nice to pick up that 100%. She's a very highly prized first pick as well among the supports here at Worlds, just because her immense counter engage. She's also a very big presence at level 1, which we haven't talked about recently, because she can snare multiple people. So the level 1 plays between these two. They actually got the combo, the Ashe Zyra, that's been so good for this Fnatic team.
Yeah, and they started to run that in the playoffs as well. We also saw the Fizz coming in for Peke. First time that he's going to make an appearance this time around for Peke. Funnily enough, we had no Kassadin ban in this one, which is something that Peke certainly loves to play. Deciding to go, though, for the Fizz. Going back to the Gambit here for a second, they picked up Varus and Sona, and that Varus for Genja has been a big champion for him throughout the spring and summer split.
Oh yeah, Gambit have locked in so much crowd control with their first 3 picks here. They've got plenty of team fighting already. So they'll probably want to supplement that with someone who's strong at dueling, somebody who's going to be able to deal with maybe a Fizz 1 versus 1 here.
Well, we see the jungle pick left till last. What is Diamond gonna burst out this time around? The Renekton was locked in, and it will be a Vi here. And talk about dueling potential, Vi fits that role.
So Vi picking Vi into Fizz is pretty interesting, because Fizz can just hop up on his pole and negate Vi's ultimate. So, you know, the combo we always talk about is Vi going mid for the level 6 guaranteed kill. That's not even close to guaranteed against a Fizz, because he can get out of that gank pretty easily. I do like the combo, though. If you just look at Fnatic's team by themselves, Vi and Orianna is a very strong combo. The only thing that Vi really has to worry about in the end game is how squishy she is if she hasn't been able to build up enough. Orianna definitely helps out with that, with the shield, with the resistances that she gives, and the secondary crowd control with the shockwave that will come in on top of her.
Final pick for Fnatic as well, going into the top lane, a Zac for Soaz. Champion which again has caused a few headaches for Gambit in the past.
I mean, this is really a classic Fnatic lineup. The only difference here and earlier in Worlds is that they were using Ahri much more because it was available to them. Basically, they've just switched out Fizz for Ahri. They have amazing tower defense to let Peke go split push, and then they have an engage for when they want to turn it around. Crystal Arrow into a Zac Elastic Slingshot. They can start a fight whenever they want to.
Scary times maybe here for Gambit on the horizon. But while we're waiting for the players to load into the game, let's take a look at who you guys at home think are going to win this one. And I can tell you, it's a close one. According to lolesports.com, 56% of you think that Fnatic will make it 6 wins in a row against Gambit. Our analysts all thought the same as well.
I'm happy that it's this close, because I think this game is going to be well fought here by both teams. They actually are starting out with pretty much compositions that you thought you would see from both of these teams. This is very characteristic of Fnatic, as well as coming from Gambit here.
So we should also not forget the fact that Gambit is a team that turns up on the biggest occasions, and this would certainly be the time to do it here at Worlds. But we are in game, Gambit versus Fnatic. Let's see how things are going to go down. We talked earlier about that Zyra and the danger that she really poses at level 1.
Right, it's very, very scary for Gambit to go face-checking bushes right now. So they'll probably just start out really defensively here. If you ever are going to walk into a Zyra Ashe level 1, it's one of the most scary combos, because Ashe has her guaranteed crit, and Zyra will lock you guys down.
So right now the setup pretty even on both sides. A kind of line defense setup across the map on either side of the river, top and bottom. You see there Darian hiding inside of that brush. His opposite number, Soaz, actually on that top side as well. But with a game of this magnitude, you know, this is the deal for Fnatic. If they pick up this win, they are through no matter what in that first position. So Question is, can Gambit turn it on? Because they're in danger of actually ending up in a tiebreaker here later on against Ozone. So very, very important game from both sides, and you can almost feel that tension here at level 1.
If Gambit are able to turn it on, it's going to look like a bunch of team fights. They've definitely got, they're going to be looking for these team fights around Dragon, areas like this where they can make use of all this area of effect crowd control, whereas Fnatic, true to form, they're going to be looking to split push and pick people off with the crystal arrows and the Fizz damage later once he does get a Sheen into Lichbane. So it's all about map control here for Fnatic, whereas Gambit are going for the large team fights.
Well, it looks like the lanes going to be matched up in traditional style with the Zac versus Renekton on that top side, the duo lanes in the bottom. We can see both junglers starting on the top side of the map here. Cyanide using that smite earlier on, as has Diamond, to get rid of his blue buff as well.
Both junglers starting at the top side, so that means both of them are going to end their routes down bottom. And usually when the junglers end their routes near the duo lanes, they don't go for the early ganks because those are the lanes with the most wards, and most junglers have sort of trained themselves just not to go use time down there very early. They'll probably continue jungling or make their visits mid.
So Cyanide going to finish off this blue. Diamond did the wolf camp actually before he came down onto this bottom side, so he's going to be pushing down there a little bit later, and we'll see where they make their mark on the map.
Yeah, the reason Diamond used his smite early on this blue is because he's just going for that very quick jungle farm. You notice usually people will go from buff to other buff. That's what Cyanide did. But Diamond, having used his smite, just started clearing out the small camps already. So he is slightly ahead of Cyanide right now in terms of jungle speed.
On this bottom lane. Could be an explosive one with those grasping roots in there. Voidal obviously going to become a lot more dangerous a little bit later on in the game once he gets up towards that level 6 area. This mid lane, Alex on Orianna versus Peke on Fizz.
Right now, since Fizz is pushed to his turret 2, there's definitely going to be no ganks here in the mid lane from Diamond. He is just going for the power clear. So he'll probably come out of the jungle here around level 5 when he does go for his first gank. And it's actually very hard, all of these lanes, because of the Zyra counter-initiate. Peke, it's really dangerous to go for those CS. And as Fizz, you do get poked down very early, so you have to balance that risk versus reward.
A lot of risk from Peke.
A lot of risk, one
risk.
minion reward.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure how that balance all works out in the end, but he's still alive and he didn't lose too much health from it, so we'll let that one slide. Right now, Cyanide actually hanging around here by that middle area. We saw there on the minimap that Diamond is actually headed off home, so he's not going to be in the immediate area in terms of any kind of counter gank. Peke pushing out here though from the turret.
And there are no wards up here for Gambit besides that bottom lane. So Diamond, with his first recall and his hard clear that he did of the jungle, has gotten 2 different wards here, a pink and a green. He'll probably be going to ward up Alex's lane, since Alex is winning his lane right now so easily, and they don't want to let up pressure on Fizz early when Fizz is the weakest. He's going to ward for Alex so that Alex doesn't have to leave his lane at all.
So Cyanide, after hanging around that mid area, did get back off into his jungle and get back onto his farming routes. Alex doing a great job here, more than double the CS right now of Alex. There is Diamond actually pushing up through the Fnatic jungle. Got Cyanide in his sights and he's going to move in there with that Vault Breaker. Actually, the Q will land and Cyanide going aggressive on him here. And just a little bit of a tussle, not really too much damage done. A bit of a power struggle.
Good dodge there for a blind man. And Alex definitely on his last couple CS here. He's run out of potions. His crystalline flask is empty. The next chunk of harass that he actually takes from a command attack and shot and dissonance means that he'll probably have to back off after that.
There's the top lane match. Zac versus Renekton, a familiar matchup as Ignite goes down there onto Peke. Not got enough damage to finish him off, but as you said, running out of potions and that crystalline flask is empty, he's going to back off.
Yeah, did I say Alex? I meant Peke. Yeah, Peke going to have to recall now, and that means that Cyanide will have to show in lane. So whenever the jungle does show in lane, your opponent's going to take advantage of you. Diamond's already one up on him, taking out one camp.
So back off for the first time here from Alex Ich. What's he going to come back into that lane with? The Chalice picked up there for Orianna, and boots and wards and more potions as well from that one. So that's a nice shopping trip back home for him.
Yeah, he does not want to have to leave this lane early because Fizz, once he does get that Sheen and into the Lichbane, then he really starts to become a menace. So they want to delay Fizz's items as long as possible. And you do that by having Alex harass him down with Orianna. I really did like also Diamond's placements of the wards. You placed one mid so that Alex could just hug that bottom side, and then you use the other as a pink inside the jungle of Fnatic.
And we just saw Darian actually popping his ultimate there just to put down some more damage onto Soaz. And honestly, this top lane, especially the caliber of the players themselves as well, I don't expect any kills coming down without some interference there from either Diamond or Cyanide. And Renekton versus that could be pretty much a face-bashing lane for a long time.
Yeah, the top lane's pretty classic. Everyone talks about it being an island. It's a dangerous island to be on because they are just smashing their faces against each other. Now they're going to go back for their first buys, though. Renekton getting more tanky means it's just going to be more head bashing.
Actually, Peke had a good amount of time here in this mid lane to farm his way closer at least. He's still more than double CS behind Alex at this point, who's just gone back there to pick off that blue buff. And with that Chalice in there as well, he's not going to have any problems with mana for a while now.
And Alex, after going back for that pink ward, he's actually used his pink ward in the jungle up there on the other side of the lizard buff to protect Diamond from any sort of counter jungling from Cyanide. So he's paid Diamond back for the early warding that Diamond got for him. Diamond has been very outspoken. He's one that hates any sort of vision inside of his jungle. If there are any wards inside his jungle, he'll call for his team to grab pinks and clear it out immediately because he doesn't want anyone to know about the secret operations he performs in there.
Well, right now that secret operation is taking his red buff. And we can see that pink actually on top of the red. I'm not sure if it's just slightly around the corner there or whether Diamond's playing this really smart, knowing that that ward's there. He can almost bait Fnatic with that use.
It's almost even better if you have knowledge of the other team's vision so that you can use that against them. So much of jungling is mind games and playing off of your opponent's knowledge and how much you are aware of their movements. So they can actually try and make use of that as some sort of bait.
No, this top lane, not the most thrilling to watch, that's for sure. We see that that ward has allowed Diamond to go through, but he's going to reveal himself here. Gone straight through while the minions were there anyway. Was a pink ward in that, but what are they going to make the play from here?
Yeah, usually we talk about Vi hitting level 6, guaranteed gank. But look at the team that he's trying to gank. It's a duo lane of Ashe Zyra, which is amazing counter engage, and then Fizz is at middle, who can negate her ultimate. Up top, there's Soaz, who has a revive passive. So instead, they just go straight for the dragon, get the global gold, and don't waste his time ganking a lane.
So ward's put down. Cyanide going to be hanging off to the side from this one. We've seen him steal before, but not today. Diamond going to pick that one up, and that's the first major arrow in this game. There's a flash away from Boydell. The arrow just flying on by. Alex was trying to keep Fizz there in that mid lane and away from any trouble. Yellow Star here is going to manage to lock up Genja. Stranglethorn flashed away from there by Genja. And there's a flash in actually from Pushu, which not going to get him anything.
Those were both necessary flashes. Those would have turned into first bloods. That means the dual lane here for Gambit going to have to watch out. They're going to have to ward very heavily. It's a good thing they already have a ward very deep in Fnatic's jungle because Lee Sin is an amazing jungler at coming at you from different angles. He can actually even come straight through the lane. So even if the bottom lane here has good wards around them, they're going to have to play a little bit more defensively now.
Now this top side has not had a jungler up there yet. We're 10.5 minutes into this one, and they've just been left to their own devices. Currently, it is Darian that has the advantage over Soaz. Let's call it 100 CS to 80 right now. There's once again that wave getting pushed off towards the turret. Seen a couple of them starting to come back in lane. And look at the AD carries here, because Genja actually picking up that Phage here first of all. Now, he's been quite happy to go Triforce with champions, which we're not usually used to seeing the Triforce on.
He said that he will go Triforce on every single AD right now, though. So he's very, very big proponent of using that item. And we'll have to say if he actually stays true to his word and does go Triforce on Varus. It actually doesn't build into anything else now, so he's pretty much locked into that. Frozen Mallet item build was changed. No longer Phage necessary.
So, Kobe, do we think it's better than the tier on Varus?
I'd say it's a step up, but just because of the extra mobility that he does get when killing creeps.
Look at this, Fnatic actually walking down towards that bottom side there, both Lee Sin and Fizz making their way in, a lot of pings going down, and in the end they decide not to go for that one. We're at 12 minutes into this game, no first blood to be seen just yet.
And about that junglers, you know, not going top lane, I guess, for any sort of action up there. One of the biggest parts of jungling is also not getting yourself into a pattern and not being predictable. If you do the same thing multiple games over, then the good junglers will scout you, and they will predict your movements, and they will come for counter ganks, just like the ones that we're setting up here. So it's especially something that I've seen Loveland really excel at. Probably my favorite jungler of the tournament so far. He has not done the same thing multiple times. There's the arrow initiate!
Oh, this is bad news. First blood coming down there to push you, and it happens so incredibly quickly. Meanwhile, Peke here onto Alex in that mid lane. Command Protect comes down, but Peke's going for this one. He's going to flash in. Shockwave comes down, but Peke will pick up the kill. Tower's not going to be enough to get that one back. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Diamond in trouble. He goes very, very low from that one as well, and all close stuff, but that immediate explosion of Voidal there. They were stood in the brush as human was to see that one coming, but the arrow's faster.
We talked about the bottom lane having to play defensively even if they have wards, and they didn't right there. This one was just an outplay in mid. Beautiful job here by Peke. He continues to chase under the turret. The damage over time actually gets turret aggro onto him, and then saving his playful trickster for the shockwave to jump right over it.
So incredibly well done there by XPK. And let's have a look where that actually leaves us in the grand scheme of things here. 2-0 in kills for Fnatic, but still behind here on gold technically. That Dragon obviously going overall to Gambit earlier on, and also ahead nicely in the CS on all fronts actually.
Yeah, Gambit, even after losing those 2 kills, Gambit's got a very substantial gold lead here. I mean, it's basically the Fizz versus Orianna matchup that's going the way that it's expected to. Fizz loses very hard in CS, and then comes out with the first kill just because he has that kill potential. Like I talked about that Sheen, he's also rushed Short Boots, so it's an even earlier extra damage there for him.
And his bottom lane, Genja, did come back after seeing his support die a little bit earlier on. The second blue buffs of the game, or third blue buffs I guess we can say, technically going over to the mid laners here once again. Right now though, Soaz is moving down.
He's getting into position here, and it's because they have the flash already blown for Alex that Soaz is very confident making this roam.
Oh, there's a drop in. Oh, this is bad news again for Alex. The ulti coming down. He will shockwave, but it's not going to save him. Let's bounce was going on there by Soaz as well. And Fnatic executing absolutely perfectly once again.
Yep, good call because of the no flash there. Making Alex pay once again. But a huge creep wave, full creep wave, was lost for Soaz up in that top lane. Darien did at least shove that wave into the turret before he roamed down. So they were making Fnatic pay a little bit.
Oh, arrow coming out again here on towards Voidal. Yellow Star through his full combo out there. Trying to hook him up with the grasping roots and then throw the Stranglethorns down on top. Voidal, though, using his flash pretty much instantly as it came on cooldown.
And that gank was a little bit early here. If they had waited, 15 seconds or so, then a dragon would be spawned, and they could turn that large chunk of damage into something else. But because it's going to be another few seconds, Fnatic happy to wait on their cooldowns again. The Ashe Zyra combo of the ultis is very, very important for the Fnatic dragon fight.
Look at the damage there coming out from Peke on towards that top outer turret. Still no turret's gone down while we're on that front. Peke diving in towards Alex again. Has that Chum the Waters up and available for himself. He's now got that face bashing lane moving over towards the middle. as Oriana and Fizz did a little bit of battle at the top. But, you know, despite the fact that Alex is obviously ahead in CS there, that's really the only thing going in his favor at this stage.
They're happy with the CS leads, though, because money that you earn from CS is a lot safer than money that you earn from killing people, because if Fnatic rack up multiple kills, if there's one more kill on Peke, oh, here we go, Alex taking hits.
Yeah, once again knocked up in the air there by Chum the Waters, and Peke picks up kill number 3 on towards Alex. Meanwhile, down in the Dragon area, we did see the Dragon picked up by Fnatic. There's Let's Bounce coming in by Soaz. Darian trying to get away, will flash over. Soaz going to follow him, but he's now in front of 3 men. Crescendo will lock him up. There's Cell Division going to be popped, but can they finish him off? No, they can't. Arrow coming in from Pushu. There is Assault and Battery, plus the ulti out of Genja. They're going to know. Cyanide flashing away. Soaz dives back in. Flash away on the bottom side from Diamond. Chaos!
Pushu was thinking about flashing over for about 20 seconds there. He was sitting in the back of the Dragon, did not want to come over to join the fight. Then finally does, and his target disappears.
Crazy, crazy stuff there down by Dragon, but crazy stuff that's working out so well for Fnatic. They took down the Dragon. They made it 5 kills now. They take the upper outer turret, the top lane outer turret, and the bottom lane outer turret in one swift sweep.
Right, that top turret, I was just talking about the kill bounties racking up for Fnatic, and Peke does get his 3rd kill. So for Gambit, they're at least looking to get a little bit of extra gold if they're actually ever able to take down Peke. He's now got a bounty on his head.
So let's have a look down some of the items that are now finished after that. You can see that Fnatic gaining themselves finally that gold lead back. Lichbane, he's done. Peke throwing his ulti out here again, and feels like Chum the Waters not really been on cooldown.
There's an interesting thing with Chum the Waters that you can actually throw it much shorter. It's not, it won't go the full line of the skill shot, and he just flubbed it on the ground right there.
Well, I give him that because that's the first one out of, well, that was his 4th.
He does have 3 kills.
And he's got the 3 kills to show for it with that Lich Bane now finished off. The 2 AD carries will look at Pushu here. Got that Infinity Edge now done. Other side, BF Sword added in for Genja.
Genja with the BF Sword after that phage. I guess he's not going with the Trinity Force. Just wanted the extra move speed from the phage, and now he's going to go with a more standard build from Varus. Either that or he's just delaying his Trinity Force a very, very long time.
Well, Fnatic right now are trying to get a hold of Gambit's jungle. That blue buff is up and available. We can see that Gambit moving around as a team as Voidal. Going to take a lot of damage here from Zyra. There is Soaz. He's going to dive into the middle of them. Where is Let's Bounce? He's got it available, but deciding here to probably back away. There are more Gambit members there than I think they expected here, Fnatic. Darian did use that Dominus, and that will force Fnatic at least away for now.
I want to see Fnatic call for a cross-court arrow, but he just used it bottom in the duel with Genja.
Yeah, and it is a duel where Genja's going to flash in. Oh, barrier Bateson! Oh, he got the kill. He will go down anyway. And that just fits the theme of this game. Chaotic and crazy.
Genja, I mean, everyone always talks about how passive of an AD Genja is. Here we go, Soaz initiates.
Oh, there's a brilliant shockwave. Crescendo follows up. Stranglethorn's coming in. Cyanide trying to walk away as he kicks Diamond off, but Peke is chasing down Alex somehow, getting behind his turret, but he'll get the kill there. Peke falling low, but he's looking for another one here. Voidal falls as well. There is the shutdown, but Peke under pressure gets the double. Meanwhile, blue buff had been started off. Yellow Star now has to back away. They've got Diamond here chasing in as well. They'll be happy, though, to sew up the control of the blue, which might not be quite as controlled as they think. Soaz is waiting.
Oh, Soaz is going to come in for this one. Darian's right behind him. Darian also just got the shutdown gold on Peke. So Darian just got a huge amount of money in all of this scramble down here. He's going to be a very tanky Renekton.
Well, let's have a look at that messy fight again by the blue buff.
Okay, so this was a good shockwave into Crescendo, but Peke was not hit by any of this CC. He gets around behind, and because Yellow Star was able to knock up 3 people with his Zyra ultimate, it gave Peke the time he needed to not only kill Alex, but also get enough damage down onto Voidal. The dot from his auto attack going to finish him off.
Game over there for Voidal for a second time in this game. If we look at Alex, definitely not having the best game of his life at this point. Still holds a 40 CS lead, but is now 0-4-1 there. We can see the gold difference between the two. I don't want to say too massive at this point, but at the same time, we're only 20 minutes into the game, and he's already slipping quite far behind.
The scariest point of any Fizz is when he gets not only the Lich Bane, but also the Zhonya's Hourglass after that, because then he has the burst potential to assassinate someone because of Lich Bane. Plus, he can get another round of abilities off when he comes out of his Hourglass, so he becomes very frustrating to fight because he has two different abilities that make him untargetable, and he can escape after he kills you.
And Genja doesn't want to be the one to probably go up against him at this point of things. We saw him now finishing off that Bloodthirster. As we mentioned, went for the Phage first, then off towards that Bloodthirster. Second of all, seeing another couple of items being picked up. Both top laners got that Sunfire Cape in. We see the Spirit Visage for Darien on the other side, so as working exactly the same route.
Yeah, Genja definitely doesn't want to fight Peke, especially having blown his summoners in that 1v1 battle with Pushu down bottom. The Phage is going to give him a lot of extra movement speed that he'll try and use to kite Fizz. Cheeky little steal there from Peke.
That's the problem with the Fizz, right? He comes in, you think, okay, look, he's totally out of position. Let's get him. Oh, we can't actually do anything to him at that point. Peke getting away with completely full health remaining. Right now, they're moving on towards inner turrets here. Of course, all three outers already down for Fnatic. We can see them working away slowly but surely on this inner turret, which is going to move from slowly and surely to just surely here in just a second, with all 5 men from Fnatic there for the pickup.
Gambit are closing in, though, and we do have Vi flanking on the outside. If Vi can get her Assault and Battery onto Pushu with Alex's ball on top of him, that would be the ideal situation to start this off, because he's not looking to ulti Peke. We've already been over the fact that Peke can avoid it.
And has managed to avoid it as well. Dragon is now up and available. We see a lot of pink wards on that side of the map from Gambit here. Fnatic going to be going home, though, and spending a little bit of cash that they've been building up. The men that didn't go back from Fnatic just going to make sure that Gambit can't push this mid lane back in their direction and take out what would be only the second turret of the game. Gambit have started Dragon, though.
And they do have vision of Fnatic. Diamond, though, is the only one in the pit. It's going to take him a little bit longer here to finish it off. It looks like they're going to be able to grab this one. So some global gold back in the favor of Gambit. Still a very close game here.
Yeah, 1,000 gold is all that separates them here, despite that 4-1 in turret leads and the 8-3 kill lead that Fnatic are currently holding. Thanks to the great job that they've done here across all lanes, even in the jungle, being ahead on TS.
As we look later, too, Pushu has just finished his last Whisper after Infinity Edge, getting that one extremely early because he's going to be hitting Darien, and we just talked about how much money Darien got in that last skirmish. Wants to be able to take down the front line. He does not want to get into this team fight at all. Actually, if he builds a third item defensive Banshee's Veil, I wouldn't criticize him too much, because as long as he has that Banshee's Veil to avoid Vi's Assault and Battery, he can stay very far back in this lineup.
So a bit more of a quiet period. We see that Gambit spending a lot of money on pink wards here. We saw the 3 down by Dragon. They've got 3 now on the top side of their jungle as well. They want to maintain complete vision control of their side of the map. And with those outer towers down, the only real way to do that is to get those wards going. Oh, Darien, they're just going out on towards Soaz once again, him back to way. And we've got Boots of Swiftness now picked up here for Darien.
So he definitely wants to be getting back there over to Pushu. Going to avoid a lot of the slows, both from Zyra as well as from Cyanide.
This could get messy once again, looking almost like an instant replay from earlier on, as Soaz is going to dive in. Arrow goes down as well. Diamond taking a lot of damage. There's a Stranglethorns, knocks them up. Shockwave comes down, but there's the kill for Soaz. Where are they going next? On towards Genji, who has to flash away on the side. There's a Zhonya's from Peke, and right now, all of the men from Gambit here flashing very, very low. Fnatic trying to come in there to keep these ones going. Soaz being protected by the rest of his team, but Cyanide comes around the back, kicks Genji in there. Double kill for Peke. Only Alex surviving that one, and Fnatic didn't lose a man.
Diamond getting chunked down very early and having to use Assault and Battery on Soaz to reposition himself and try and get out of that fight meant they had nothing to get down on Pushu, and there was no answer left. Diamond here already down to a quarter life. Then he has to ulti Soaz, nothing left. The Shockwave doesn't get Pushu either. Ash is free firing from the back line. Then we see Cyanide start to make his move down around behind Gambit as they're already chasing them into their own base. Genja's going to get knocked in the head back. Because Soaz had his revive passive, not even this very tanky Renekton could sustain as much damage as him coming back together with Bloblos.
So Baron was done there while we were looking through that replay. And one thing that we saw in that fight there, the crescendo, it hit Yellow Star. Then the Chain of Corruption hit Yellow Star and didn't spread out as they would have liked for them there as well. So they lost a lot of that CC that is so strong, I think, really, in this Gambit lineup, especially when you're fighting in the jungle like that. It's almost, it's harder to miss than it is
exactly.
to hit.
The target they're going for, Pushu. Assault and Battery didn't hit him, Shockwave didn't hit him, Corruption didn't hit him, Crescendo didn't hit him. That's all 4. Didn't hit him with any of them.
Something for Gambit to really improve on from this one. They're now slipping further behind in the goal. That Baron on for Gambit, for Fnatic, going to make them all the more stronger. We saw that Sonya's in the last fight for Peke, allowing him to lose a lot of that damage that was coming his way. And also credit to Cyanide for sewing up that last kill onto Genja as well, coming right around the bottom side of them and kicking him back into the rest of the team. What are we going to see as the next step here? Inventory in the mid and the bottom lanes are still open. We can see that Fnatic just trying to grasp that control with a lot of wards down in the Gambit jungle.
It's exactly what they need to do because Baron, or we don't have the Baron timer up yet. Never mind, I can't remember. They're wearing Baron. They're going to try and assassinate Darien down here in the bush.
Well, Darien is what you would call far up and maybe out of position on the map here from this one. Going to try and get himself away. Oh, he's missed the short waters. The turret's actually hammering away here on towards Darien.
Those boots of speed.
Yeah, boots of swiftness. Oh, that's Soaz come diving in from the top. Darien does not care right now. He is headed up towards the fountain. And he's still going.
Hey, go back to that.
He's a quick crocodile. He's a quick crocodile, but in this mid lane, Alex in trouble. He's going to get kicked back there. Pushu going to focus. There's a Shockwave. Catches 3 of them, but will that be enough? Chain of Corruption comes down. Stranglethorn's on top of it, and Diamond here at the back, trying to do his best, is now going to be focused down as Peke forgets about Darien and comes to join the fight. 4 men die. Funnily enough, Darien survived.
All right, so they got Pushu this time, but Peke rotated down much quicker than Darien did because Darien was running for his life and easily turned around there for Fnatic.
Yeah, you have to wonder about that one, really. Darien being the tanky man in this team. Okay, he drew Peke away, but Peke split off from him there at exactly the right time to come in and sew up that fight. Right now, they're focusing on the first inhibitor turret of the game. Gambit will be coming up here, though. And only Genja remains dead at this point. But it's going to mean that that inner turret on the bottom lane is available for the taking now.
Inhibitor exposed, and Fnatic probably going to back off on this one. Spend all that money that they just got. Actually, they have Pushu joining them down here. So they're just going to wait for Ash to return. This is going to be a semi-Fnatic push. They're trying to use Yellow Star as bait. Don't think Gambit are going to be tricked, though, because they know this team very well.
Oh, Darien will get rooted up from this one, and see he loses pretty much half of his health there, and he's not really the one.
Genja's up top right now, too.
Oh, arrow coming in, Diamond gonna get focused up there. There's a jump in, the Shockwave, not really doing enough for them. Alex will use his Onyas, but as soon as he comes out, he's a focus. He gets popped down. Diamond will face the same, and there is Darien. Still trying to escape. This time, though, they're going to chase him down. He's escaped once, but not a second time. Triple kill for Peke. And where is Genja? He's in the top lane. The farm is great.
Genja was showing in that top lane at the very beginning of that fight, and Fnatic have the tower diving team right now. Genja's just still pushing up there.
Might want to come back. Just saying.
I don't know. Yeah, treading inhibitor there. He can't defend anything by himself.
That's true.
So I guess he's just decided to get a few more minions, wait for the death timers to come back up.
Well, for that, they're going to lose both inhibitors here, that bottom lane and the mid lane. And this is Fnatic's game to lose right here.
Yeah, and Fnatic, they have, like I said, this is the tower diving team. Start that off with Crystal Arrow into the slingshot. Said so many times, but they just go right for it. Anytime you show it's a 4 versus 5 situation against this team, they're going to pull that dive every single time. The arrow, even though it hits Darien, the tankiest member, Peke got all the way into the back, and Zanya's the shockwave. So there was no answer here for Gambit. Fnatic clean up, even with Pushu tanking turret hits at the back of this fight. They dive between 2 turrets here and finish off Darien as well. As we know, Genja, not on screen, but he's getting money for the team.
Yes.
1 minion at a time.
1 minute at a time. He's bringing them back into this one. It's 10,000 gold lead now, by the way, for Fnatic after all that went down. Baron is going to be respawning here in 1.5 minutes time as well. So that's going to be nice. You'd imagine for Fnatic. I can't really see Gambit being able to really fight for this one. If you look at some of the items that have come up recently, it's all very, very scary. DFG added in now for Xpeke, so that's probably the missing ingredient that he needed to finish off Darien earlier on.
Yeah, he could definitely even just burst down pretty much the tankiest member of Gambit now. With that much firepower, everybody's got to be scared.
Oh, Diamond there, getting a little bit far out, just trying to push that lane back up. Fnatic squeezing the pressure on every single lane right now. It's going to be this top lane, of course, that's the focus. That's the only one with a turret left in it outside the inhibitor. Let's see what they do. Are they going to go in? Peke just sitting there on the steps, looking generally menacing. And obviously, when you see that on your steps, you're like, we just want to kill him right now. But it's not quite that easy. Peke with that Zonya's in there now as well. Gambit really holding on by a thread in this game, we have to say.
Fnatic, they have the potential to tower dive just like they did before, but they definitely don't have to because they have 2 lines of super minions coming in. It's Gambit who started off.
Well, they managed to get a 2-man shockwave there. Pushu is going to go down. Let's see if this changes the outcome of the fight. Genja going low with the let's bounce on. There's a chain of corruption. Holding up Peke, but he dodges a piercing arrow. Dives in on towards Genja, and now Darien will be the focus from this one. We still have a Zhonya's here available for Peke if they decide to keep going. That turret got minions on it. This should be the 3rd inhibitor.
Great job here by Fnatic. I have to say, everyone chose Gambit to win this game because of the record. But it looks like Gambit's win streak is about to run out here as Fnatic have a tremendous lead in this game.
Looking so very good. 23-5 kills. Darien, we know him as a man who gets easily frustrated when his team's behind and just goes for it. Well, he didn't actually die when he was in that position here today. Now he's moving out on towards Soaz. And in the end, I think he realized that the rest of the team might be headed back his way. Meanwhile, super minions streaming in from this bottom and the middle lane going on towards those Nexus turrets. Alex managing to save it just about, but it gives Fnatic so much time here to pick up free Baron. Darien is going to face check. This is surely a dead Darien. He's knocked up. He's controlled from all kinds of angles. Oh, flashes away though. And will he live? Will the Crocodile manage to escape this one? Arrow comes flying through, misses everyone. Diamond coming in to help him out. Darien is still alive. He got kicked over the wall. He's alive, and now Diamond's going to pay the price. Great teammate, but Darien somehow lived through that one. There is Soaz. He's going to bounce on in. Good crescendo from Boydle will stop the rest of Fnatic, but they're finally going to get in there. 3-man shockwave comes down. Peke using the Zhonya's. Soaz didn't die because of cell division, and now Darien is healed up and he's back on track.
Yeah, did I say Gambit's on the win streak against Fnatic before? I pretty much
We
meant
all
the
knew
opposite.
what you meant, though.
And they're going to extend that win streak. There we go.
I can't believe Darien actually lived through that.
All right, well, that's going to be 3 inhibitors down, though.
Yeah. He might not live through it next time around. Baron is available here for Fnatic. They took that fight. I say fight, it was just try and kill Darien, really. But this time around, they are going to be settling in on that one. Peke did actually head off home. Picked himself up, you know, just avoid staff.
Just avoid staff. All right, even more penetration could be added to that build. But Darien, this is the escape that you're talking about. Good flash over the wall, then this slight sidestep right there. Just barely avoiding. This one was, that one was luck. He just kept running. Straight line right there. Diamond comes in to block this. And the kick over from Cyanide, helping Darian get out alive.
Luckiest Crocodile EU. Not often you see that kind of escape coming in. I'm sure he was laughing at that point as well. So, back into the game then. Baron was, of course, taken by Fnatic while we're having another look at Darian's miraculous escape from that one. And you have to feel that it's a matter of time at this point before Fnatic pile on so much pressure. There are no inhibitors. I say there are no inhibitors left. They've just respawned. So I'm telling a little bit of a lie on that one, but they're open inhibitors for the taking for Fnatic.
And look at this Soaz here. Not only is he a beastly tank at the point on Zach right now, but he also has his Leandries that he got pretty early on. So he's really good at initiating those fights and getting that max health percentage burn on the whole team at the start.
Oh, they're going in on to Pusher. The shockwave actually locking him up there. Alex going to be focused at the back. Peke is off diving in the back as well. He managed to get both the AD carry and support. This time around, Darian's not going to survive. This should be game right here. There is the Sonya's. Alex losing 3/4 of his health. There's the last quarter for the ace here for Fnatic. And they will pick up another win here against Gambit and secure their spot in the playoffs as they all dive into the turret just for fun. Sonya's, and there is the Nexus. Brilliant win from Fnatic once again.
Congratulations. Again, another win from Fnatic. I didn't get enough sleep. Thought the win streak was on the other foot.
Well, if only, I think, for Gambit at this stage. I mean, it wouldn't matter after losing that one whether they'd won the last 10 or 20 in the game in a row. Sorry, it leaves them now in a very sticky situation. They've most likely going to end up playing in a tiebreaker game from this one, but things could still go pear-shaped because Ozone have to play against Vulcan and Mineski as well.
They do. They still have 2 games to play out. Double F was talking about free wins. There's no free wins in League of Legends. Got to put in your time.
Got to put in the time, and especially since I think everyone has counted Mineski out at this point. They're like, okay, if we look at our remaining games, Mineski's the win. And that's probably all the conversation that went into those games. And I hope for their sake that it really isn't, because Mineski, I don't know, I've still got a feeling that they could possibly, maybe, pull out something a little bit funky here in the final day of the group stage.
Jungles.
They have nothing to lose.
5-man pushes.
They've earned a lot of experience here from this one. It's been a tough old group stage for them, but who knows? This last day could be when they bring out the craziest upset of the entire Season 3. Either way, we're going to go over to Riv and the guys at the desk for a look at Fnatic's quarter-final clinching win over Gambit.
Thank you very much, Joe. And I think we can really just dive right into this one. In the beginning, Doubleth were very verbal about the possible Genja onto Triforce build, but it was still, he kind of sat on the fade. Just go into this for us.
Yeah, I think there needs to be like some sort of esports documentary on the evolution of Genja's build this game. Because he started off with the Phage, and he had a Doran's Shield and a Doran's Blade, and then he went BT, and then he went like
Zeal,
yeah, and then he sold the Doran's Shield to get a BF sword, which doesn't build into anything. He should have, like, I'm just...
And he had enough money
to
upgrade
finish
to the Triforce, but he instead went for the BF sword.
He should have even gotten like a Last Whisper or anything. He's like, nah, screw it, dude. I'm just going to get another BF sword. And my mind was just too blown. Genja's is just on another level.
Do you think he gave up like midway to Triforce and like, this is not working? We need more piercing arrows, or...
Honestly, I don't try to get inside.
I don't want to bash Genja because he might actually have, but it's really hard to see what his intentions were.
I have a feeling he just got lost in his build.
Because Varus, like a lot of people, yes, Varus is a cost and he will get a lot of those Sheen procs off in theory, but then Varus will stack his passive procs and then pop him with a spell, and then usually he's out of range for Sheen procs. The same, his Phage isn't going to really interact too well with him. He wants a BT so he can snipe people down if he runs Armor Pen. It's called the Legolas build in Europe, where you do go BT first and then Last Whisper and just snipe people.
Yeah, so, I mean, all jokes aside, that money should have gone towards Last Whisper if you wanted more poke, and Trinity Force is a better team fighting item because it gives you so much more mobility as soon as you finish it. I just think he might have misclicked on BF Sword, or I don't really know actually what went on.
And on Phage and on Zeal?
Yeah, all those misclicks.
Jai, you were looking at something different, just the entire composure of the game. It was switched up coming from Fnatic's side.
Yeah, Krep and I have talked about this a fair bit. Fnatic, they don't even need to win the laning phase a lot of times to be able to come back in the game because their roaming is so strong. They know how to do the Fnatic brush tricks, and this was another game where all 3 lanes were down 30 CS at one point, but they still seem to just crush Gambit.
Especially against Gambit, because they're now, I think, 5-0 or 6-0 against
That makes
them.
it 6 in a row,
This makes it 6 in a row. If you play against a team that you know you've always beaten in this fashion, even if you're a few thousand gold behind, you just really don't care. You could see at one point Fnatic picking up 1 or 2 kills and they were still behind 2,000 gold, but it doesn't feel that way, and that means gold doesn't always tell you everything about the game.
I mean, I don't necessarily agree that even if they lose all 3 lanes that they're in control of the game. I think that snowballed from the just absolutely dirty play that XPK made on Alex Ich. That really turned mid lane around, and you saw XPK make a lot of plays afterwards, you know, like leading his team in the charge of like Dragon, making picks, stuff like that.
That they still have the confidence even when behind, it just shows you that they're really in the zone right now.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, their composition was great, too, for setting up that picks, and they really allowed XPK to succeed. We can see a 17-1-3 disgusting scoreline after that game. It was funny, too, because we were sitting here and we're close to the player rooms, and, of course, Ozone are Fnatic's #1 fans right now because they kept them in the tournament at this point, at the very least. You know, they needed Fnatic to win. And during the game, Imp came up to me and Crepo, and he just said, XPK is God, with the biggest grin on his face. And walked out,
this little guy with his big glasses walking around so happy. Like, even though they lost, it was legendary to see.
XPK spreading the joy, but not for some. So right now, let's see how the standings look after the first game of the day. With their win, Fnatic locks down first place in Group B, and more importantly, a spot in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, so Gambit is still sitting in second, but because of their loss, the winner of our next matchup between Vulcan and Ozone will actually tie them at 4-3.
So guys, you all picked Fnatic to win the last game, which definitely came out in your favor, which means you're perfect for the day. But that is only for right now. So let's see if you can make it 2 in a row. The winner of our next match, Vulcan versus Ozone. What are your predictions? Crepo, take it away.
I'm going to go with Ozone here, but it is really close. Because Ozone still has an edge on them, I think if they get their stuff together and they play really, really well. But you can never deny ManCloud. He can carry a game if he gets a lead. Just Vulcan does seem really shaky once in a while, even when they get ahead lately. So the least inconsistent team is Ozone for me, so I'm going to go with Ozone.
Consistency for you, all right?
Yeah, I'm with Ozone as well. I was on that Vulcan hype train, and now I've jumped off because I've just been too disappointed, dude. The service wasn't good enough on that train.
So your pie's all gone?
Yeah, the pie's gone. The apple pie is dead. And like, just in terms of overall strength right now, it is true what Monty said. I gotta admit it. Vulcan does seem to make the same large, like huge mistake early game, and that just puts them too far behind. It's consistent throughout the world so far.
Yeah, I'm going to take Ozone as well, although it's important to note Vulcan is still in this race, right? So they're certainly not out of this tournament, and they've had some time, just like Ozone has, to turn things around. So we could see a very close game here, but I think I want to see that Ozone Gambit tiebreaker.
All right, Chat, how do the casters feel about this one?
All the tension is gone. I'm picking Ozone as well in this one because, like, this is just like the last game between Gambit and Fnatic, where my gut is telling me to pick Vulcan, but my brain is telling me to pick Ozone, just because Vulcan hasn't performed so far in the World Championship. They had the first game that got me all hyped up and thinking Vulcan is going to make it here because ManCloud played amazingly. But since then, it's just been a plethora of errors over and over again. And now with the pressure being even higher, I feel like since they've been going downhill, they're not exactly a team that's going to respond to the pressure in the best way, and I'm expecting them to lose this one to Ozone.
I think Dada is really learning what matchups he can play and what he shouldn't play. They've really learned of their pick mistakes, I believe. I really hope he just takes a champion he's comfortable with, just farms his way against ManCloud, and I think the rest of the team can get him through that early to mid-game, and then Korean mid-game instinct will still kick in.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend that everyone keep your eyes on Dade, because I feel like so far in the tournament he's had one good game, and that was the Ezreal game against Gambit. The rest of the games have been really unimpressive to me, and I hope to see him like step up his game.
All right, so we have a few minutes here, and let's discuss this, because it's been a roller coaster ride discussing these two mid laners. You know, good games here, then both have bad games. What does a team need to do around a mid-centric lane like that to correct that?
Well, I think most of the problems have been Dade's overextensions in lane, where he gets caught with too little vision. He gets a little cocky and goes too far out. Now, the last time they played against Vulcan, he did go down early to ManCloud on Rise, but he actually had a big impact in that game later on when they got to the team fighting phase. His other game on Rise, he just team fought poorly, but he did look a little stronger in that first game against Vulcan. But yeah, I think if he just plays more conservatively, he'll have a much better shot at making that impact.
There's basically two ways to deal with it. Either you put your jungle pressure fully on the mid lane and you go for the epic 2v2, in which Xmithia and ManCloud came out a little too light last time, I believe. I'm not even sure. But otherwise, you can actually just go for a passive lane approach, just farm your way into the game, put your jungler to help your strong players, let them get ahead, and then just have a good utility mid laner. Say Orianna could do really well for both teams here.
Yeah, I'm really just looking at Dade's champion pool this game because he's had a couple really rough games, his Gragas game and his Lissandra game, champions he hasn't played before. Hopefully they're kind of realizing now at this point, if he's not playing part of his core, what I think is 4 champions that he plays, Zed, Ezreal, Jason, Ryze seem to be the 4 that he plays. If he's not on those...
Who's on the blue side for this game?
He's getting destroyed at this point.
Blue side, you got me on that one.
Oh my god.
It's our first team represented.
We should know this.
Who knows, dude?
Nobody knows.
But going off what Krepo said, I don't think it's likely that either player will play passively. Just because of the way that they play. They're both like blood-hungry monsters, dude. These guys love getting kills. They love fighting, and it just goes completely against their style to be like, I'm going to split this lane even and try to farm it out.
And it is Vulcan on blue this time coming around. So we'll see what they can do with that first pick, first ban. We got to take a quick break right now, but when we return, Vulcan and Ozone fight for a share of second place in the Group B standings. Plus, Fnatic Cyanide will join us to talk about winning their way into the quarterfinals. Don't go anywhere. The League of Legends Season 3 World Championship. We'll be right back. Stick around.
Meanwhile, Peke here onto Alex in that mid lane. Command Protect comes down, but Peke's going for this one. He's going to flash in. Shockwave comes down, but Peke will pick up the kill. Nice. And they will pick up another win here against Gambit.